Warning. This video contains gameplay and minor story spoilers for all the games she lists on screen. I try my best to avoid major spoilers, but some stuff is unavoidable. I recommend you try every game that's shown here. They're all incredibly fun and you'll have a great time with them. Who is the best character in this game? It's a very common question to ask in any games community, so long as the game has multiple playable characters who function differently from one another. I make this specification because while a lot of people will ask who is the best character in Super Mario 3D World, no one is asking who is the best character in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Yet. They all play the same, there's no reason for you to ask! And most RPGs have multiple characters, making a very common question for RPG fans. Who is the best pirate in Persona 5? That's easy, it's Joker. Who is the best pirate in Dragon Quest 11? Well, it could be a toss-up between Luminary, Eric, and Sylvander. Who is the best pirate in Xenogears? Well, that's clearly Satan Uzuki. And the funny thing with the last one is that the answer to who is the best party member ever created, the answer is still Satan Uzuki. So what actually makes a good party member from a gameplay perspective? It's a question I end up asking a lot, and I've narrowed it down to 4 main criteria. First criteria is strength. How strong is the character? Can they deal big damage? Are they a goddamn machine in a human body? I didn't mean that last one literally. Seeing big numbers just makes the brain very happy in game situations. Like if someone created the concept of 9,546,273, and it didn't exist before this moment. A character being an absolute powerhouse is sort of an essential when making a character. Or at least one of your characters in an RPG. I absolutely love playing as Rex in Future Redeemed due to the insane damage you can get with it. You just look at these clips from when I was playing the game myself.
Just getting started.
2 million in one hit, that is insane. Another hit with 2 million. Sacred Ray.
He was easily my most used character in the entire game due to the insane damage output. The second main criteria is utility. Strength isn't everything. A character can be weak as all hell in the damage department, but someone wants to provide something else. Their damage output is being non-existent doesn't matter to me. Louis from Fire Emblem Engage is insanely fun due to the fact that I can throw them in almost any scenario with physical units and just watch as they all fail to do anything to him, especially on lower difficulties. Fun fact about Louis is that the reason why he's not good at maddening is because in the mid-game, he's actually so good that enemies just won't target him because he doesn't take any damage, even on maddening. So, suffering from success, I guess? And if I give Louis a javelin as well, I can just watch him destroy everything that comes near. The same goes for Yunaka, except she dodges everything. Of course, defense isn't everything to utility. Healing and buffing are a major part of it. If you keep my characters alive, I'll forever appreciate it. I could talk on and on about many different healers in different games and how really good they are. I can go on about Serena in Dragon Quest XI before Act 3. But I'll just talk about the absolute best one that has ever been created, which is Fiona from Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Fiona is a beast who tops the tier list over the actual highest DPS class in the game. Funnily enough, that character is also found in the same area, so I can see if I was just built different, I guess. Fiona's whole gimmick is that she gets a load of buffs and just spreads them to everyone. Yes, it's as broken as it sounds. Attack up, defense up, auto healing is basically nothing up limits except the invincible buff. Although there was, or still is, I'm not really sure, a way of getting the invincibility buff from everyone else. Heck, this ability to spread buffs to the party members is so strong that in my own plans for an RPG, I gave it to the main character. I think an ability is so broken for me that I want it on a main character that you've made a tiny little powerhouse right there. Now, third criteria is enjoyment. Now, this could probably include the other two, but I'm giving it its own separate category because if you find no enjoyment in the character, there's no point in using them. Of course, you can get enjoyment out of a very powerful character, even if it's not an absolute peak of the meta. Critical healing Mithra is not our absolute maximum damage potential, and will not get you the best time in speed in challenge mode. I don't care. It's fun seeing giant damage numbers and giant healing numbers. I also like to headcanon that Mithra gets so pissed at Rex during combat that she just heals him 12 times the amount of HP that he has in a fit of range for no other reason than it's funny. Of course, there's the other kind of enjoyment. Listen, people are just horny. No matter how much people try to deny it, you can't. Some people enjoy looking at nice bodies when playing video games. If you first look at characters for 70+ hours, you wouldn't mind if you enjoyed looking at them. why so many people play as female characters, because they just prefer to look at them for hours. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, because, you know, they're fiction. For the longest time, back in my awful Genshin Impact grinding days in 2021, I used Rosaria as a main DPS. Of course, now I know she's a better sub-DPS and extra support, and that you outclass her in a considerable way, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I enjoyed using them for reasons. Another thing I can add is that I used Uni in Full Metal Jaguar a lot, because seeing someone with her personality shooting away all their problems is funny as hell, and you can't tell me otherwise. However, with all that said, there is still one thing that a lot of people overlook with characters. Accessibility. Now I'll start off by saying that this is absolutely not the most important factor of making a good party member. Morgana is with you for basically all of Persona 5, and he's still the worst party member because Makoto outclasses him in every way from the moment she joins your party. Meanwhile, Akechi is available for 1 dungeon, 2 if you're playing Royal, and he's fun as all hell to you, which is why he always replaces someone on my team whenever I play for the game.
Do you wish to reform society? Why don't we do this? I will accompany you. That sounds lovely. Their guard is down! Let's move! Safety first. Crow, ready to support. Robin Hood! Now, Robin! Persona! Persona! Manifest! Taste my wrath! Gah, these weaklings. Ready to die? Gun 'em down! Payback time! Slice 'em! Out of my way! See you in hell! Lucky bastard. Piece of shit. Persona! Persona! Manifest! Fear my power. God, I live for this! Slaughter them! Loki! To me, Loki! Kill them, Herald! Out of my way! Crow! You little shit!
But that one example doesn't mean availability isn't important. The biggest reason I feel Erik is so useful in Dragon Quest XI is due to how he's basically always with you for the entire of Act 1. He's good from the moment you get him, being able to dish out incredible damage, and by the end of Act 1 you probably have a setup with him where you can just destroy literally everything with enough setup on him and enough support from Sylvander. And then Act 2 happens and he's taken away from you. You really feel the effects of it, to be honest. It really does a good job of making you miss him due to how strong he really is. And even when you get him back, you have to work for all the skills back on him again. You don't immediately get him in his peak condition. And it helps with both story and helps me love this game so much. And yes, this is an appeal to go play Dragon Quest XI if you haven't already. It's an absolute masterpiece of a story and really shows why turn-based combat styles are placed in video games. You don't have to play past Act 2 though. The story really falls off after that. Anyway, after now looking at them from a gameplay perspective, let's look at them from a story perspective. Gameplay isn't the only reason people will like a character. If they're a good character from a story perspective, people will really grow attached to them. I absolutely love Teach from Xenoblade 3. His hero quests are a delight to play through, and while the character's story arc may be somewhat basic if you've seen a lot of fiction, it's still a cool concept, and I hate the fact that he sucks in combat. His class is meant to be a combination of an attacker and healer, but he ends up being mediocre in both. He's outclassed by the healers like Uni and Vali by the time you lock him, and he's absolutely outclassed by your attackers like Noah Sen and Ethel by that time as well. And if you wait to unlock him or just don't notice you can unlock him, it gets much worse. So much worse. Of course, it's an example of a party member who ends up being bad in combat but enjoyable in the story, but there are many characters who fall into the opposite category. Aunt Takamaki is a character who is very enjoyable to use for me. She's basically a main magical damage dealer for anything that doesn't resist fire for most of the game, only being swapped out for Haru during the Okumura boss fight, and Akechi once he's unlocked. For a party member, she's incredible for the early portions of the game, and I feel the early game would be a lot harder without her. And for that first dungeon where she's the big focus, her story arc is really good too, focusing on themes of sexual exploitation and abuse of power.
You know what? I'm not some cheap girl you can toy with, you scumbag.
Bitch!
She's even a significant part of one of the best scenes in the entire game.
You've heard the rumors, haven't you? About Mr. Kamoshida. Everyone says we're getting it on. But that's so not true. That was him on the other line. I avoided giving him my number for the longest time. He told me to go to his place after this. You know what it means. If I turn him down, he said he'd take my friend off as a regular on the team. I've been telling myself this is all for Shiho's sake. I can't take it anymore. I've had enough of this. I hate him. But still, Shiho's my best friend. She's all I have left in that sorry excuse of a school. Tell me, what should I do?
The problem starts after the first dungeon where an entire character is just boiled down to attractive female. And it's used for a lot of fan service scenes across the game. It just sucks to see a character whose entire character arc is about wanting to not be seen as just a sex object, boiled down to this incredibly sorry state. It's also made worse by the fact she's a high school student rather than being an adult. Of course, her being an adult wouldn't make the scenes okay, but it would stop me feeling actually uncomfortable during those scenes.
I basically skip through a lot of Persona 5's story because of how these scenes make me feel. And it sucks because Persona 5 is a really good game.
On a brighter note, but also sticking to Persona, Teddy. Teddy is the actual worst character I've ever seen in a video game. I know he's meant to be annoying and stupid, but that doesn't make me like him more. He literally does something that he spends the entire game stressing that you should never do. It just makes me want to slap him for being an absolute idiot. Yet this guy is so broken in combat, giving me so many strong buffs and being the only strong multi-target ice attacker in the game, besides you, who can do anything. Both Chie and Naoto can learn strong ice attacks, but Chie doesn't have the magic to dish it out, and neither of them have strong multi-target spells.
Teddy is also the best character for buffing your team. Having access to Mataru Kaja, which buffs all your party members' attack, and Maraku Kaja, which buffs all your party members' defense. Do I recommend you use him just for this? Absolutely not. Yukiko can also learn Maraku Kaja, and any of the buffing skills you need but can't get access to one of the party members, you can easily just give to you and rock around with this team you see on screen right here, which is probably the best team in the game.
But the point is, he's a useful party member even if he's not the best. So after that super long rant about party members being awful the one way, let's talk about why Satana is good in every single aspect. Of the 4 criteria I've listed for having good gameplay, Satana has every single one. He's actually great in every single one. His damage is comparable to Faye, having a similar fighting style to him. He joins with around the same amount of attack, but he has double the EP and HP that Faye does at that point in the game. He has this one skill called Renki, which makes whatever skill he uses next affect all allies. Healing? Easy. Blocking elemental attacks? A cakewalk. Buffing your stats? Simpler than convincing Square Enix that porting Xenogears to modern consoles is basically free money at this point. Seriously, there's no way you can convince me that the amount it would cost in development time and resources wouldn't be paid for at least 5 times over for the amount they make from it. Anyway, getting back on track, the enjoyment factor of this man is insane. Big numbers in both combat and healing, super cool death blow animations, super amazing design, this man is sexy as hell. Everything about it is enjoyable. And when do you unlock this man with the power of a final party member who'd be with you for the last 3 seconds of the game? The second area. The literal second area is where you find him. And this guy refuses to leave you alone. You basically have access to him for a significant amount of the game. Heck, he's so good that the early game does everything it can to stop you from using it. The game literally throws you in prison, it just pulls some strings to get in there with you and help you bust out of there, despite the fact there's a bomb strapped to you. And don't get me started on his character. I've only just left Notu in my playthrough of the game, and this man is so interesting to me. He's shrouded in mystery and everything about him just seems so cool. It excites me to learn more about him because I just know that the more I learn, the more I want to keep playing the game, and I'm already in a state right now where I just don't want to put the game down. It really annoys me that I have to go to work and that I can't always be recording this game because it is so good. I can think of characters who resonate more than Satan, like Nia from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I don't think I'm ever going to find a party member who's been more reliable than him. So yeah, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you made it this far, you probably enjoyed your time here. So why not consider leaving a like and possibly subscribing to the channel? I plan on making more videos like this in the future, so there's definitely a reason for you to stick around. I'm also posting a Let's Play of both Xenoblade 1 and Xenogears, so if you're curious about how good Satan actually is, why not consider watching that series? Seriously, Xenogears is an underappreciated gem even among Xenoblade fans, so I take an opportunity to experience this game along with me. Also, feel free to leave a comment telling me how wrong I am and giving me a detailed description of how someone else is more powerful than Satan or something. I totally won't read it and reply saying how wrong you are. With all that being said, this is Lime Crow, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.